Welcome back.
Welcome back to the podcast.
So where we left off last time is we were still reading Happy Pocketful of Money. Okay. What I want to say is I'm not surprised that it has taken us this long to get through this book. Mm-hmm. And it's no wonder that it's such a, just such a popular book. Because there's so much in here. Like, there's so much information in here. Yeah. And such useful information. I feel like it's really moving the needle in my life. It's really helping just change the way that I'm thinking about money in my life. And how I feel about money. And how I feel about, attaining money and respecting money, I guess, in a way. And just, overall the way I view money. It's really done a lot.
Yeah, I've really been appreciating going through this together and the extra time that we took with it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, there's the pressure of we got to read it. We got to do it because we said we would, which is a good pressure. And then also, like, being able to sink in it and just go, okay, like, how am I really applying this? Mm-hmm. I think as I've read it previously, I tried to do that in different ways. And I did do that in different ways. But this time has also really allowed me to do that again and go, like, on a deeper level. And that's been really, really incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love it. So let's dive right in. So I wanted to talk about, I put a star at the bottom of page 92 because it talked about two people, Mary and John. So John and Mary, they both have goals of wanting to be wealthy, and they both have goals of wanting to be millionaires. So Mary is saying, I want $1 million, and she has the goal and the vision of having $1 million. But John is also saying, I want $1 million. Mm-hmm. But he's also saying, and this is why, and this is what I would do with it. And I would buy, or I would own this, and that. And I would go here. And these are my goals. And he's like writing out this huge list of all of the things that he would do if he had $1 million.
Right.
So he's giving his brain more to work with. He's giving the universe more to work with, more avenues and more things to like throw at you. Where Mary is just saying, I want $1 million, but she doesn't know what she wants it for. She not giving any indication of why it's important or what she's going to do with it or anything. It's just $1 million. Where John's vision is just so big, there's just so much more to work with. And then he says, who do you think is going to get the $1 million first? Mary or John? And, it says John, because, John wishes to be wealthy, but unlike Mary, he has also cultivated many interests and desires in all aspects of his life. His mind is full of vibrant images and variety of many other things. And he also has specifics on the smallest details, like the clothes and places and decor of how he wants his office to look.
So he added detail, he added character, he added like passion to it.
Yes. So he said, John, of course, will be the wealthier and in an easier way.
Yeah, that's such a good reminder because like when I think about when I started manifesting, like back in the day, sometimes it was like, I just want to pay my bills. Like, I just want to make enough money so that I can pay my bills. And I got to a point where I recognized that's not inspiring. That's so boring.
It's survival.
It's like, can I have the basic necessities, please? But in the same chapter that you're talking about, it says money is only a small aspect of wealth. Yes. And it took me a long time to realize that as well, that it's not just about the money. And I started to think about like the overflow and like John did, start detailing, well, what do I want my life to look like? What kind of car do I want to drive? What do I want to wear? Whatever. Like, where do I want to go? Right? I like to tip. I like to go out to eat. I like to, so getting into all of those things, I like to shop. I like to have perfume. I like to do all these extra little things. And I needed to start looking at my life in the way of overflow. And my monthly bills are just going to automatically be paid. Mm-hmm. So I do understand that difference of how you must go from just thinking about just the dollar amount to what is this actually going to look like?
Yeah. It just reminded me of when I set a goal for myself of I wanted to earn $100,000. And so that was my goal. But I didn't attach anything to it. Why? Why do I want to earn that money? And then that's how I chose my profession. I became a university professor because I was like, okay, well, that's a job that'll give me $100,000. Mm-hmm. And that's what I became. But there was no attachment as to, why did I want this money? And when I really, really thought about it, I wanted to have money so that I could have financial security, so that my bills could be paid, so that I can go to the store and buy groceries, buy my kids clothes, just all of the stuff, right?
And not have to worry about a food limit.
Yeah.
I went to the grocery store so many times in the past week to just grab whatever I want. Mm-hmm. And it's little things like that. And it's from our conversations, my conversations with you, that has reminded me to be in gratitude, be in so much gratitude. And I think back to the times where maybe I couldn't afford to get everything from the store that I wanted and I had to put things back, mm-hmm. right? You still have to be in gratitude. Yeah. You can't just be well, this sucks. And there were times throughout my journey where I was this doesn't work. The manifestation isn't working. And it was frustrating and it was hard and it was sad and I would cry and I would do it again. And I just kept doing it again and again.
Yeah, you just get up and do it again. Mm-hmm. I remember we were at a store and I wanted to buy something. And I remember my sister standing behind me with her credit cards ready to go because she knew that I probably couldn't afford what I was trying to buy because I was trying to buy something and I was trying to split it between a couple of my bank cards and a credit card. And she was waiting behind me. And she's my younger sister, but she was waiting behind me to come and save my ass because I didn't have the money for the things that I wanted. So when I became a university professor and I finally earned that dollar amount that I wanted, I realized that it wasn't actually that I wanted to be a university professor. I ended up in a career that wasn't quite the right fit for me. Mm-hmm. But I was there because I needed that dollar amount that I was chasing. Mm-hmm. And so if I would have maybe gone through that practice of, I want $100,000 and these are all the reasons why. I didn't actually need that 100,000. I needed food security. I needed shelter security. I needed to know my kids were going to be cared for. I needed those things. And then I also wanted to buy myself a nice top.
Right. Yeah. And so when we're creating our wealth, those are things to consider, right?
Yeah.
I want to be able to go to the grocery store and buy all the food that I want to get for me and my kids. I want to be able to go and buy new clothes and not worry about the price. I want to be able to go to the gas station and fill up a tank, right?
Yeah.
I have friends or people in my life that are I'm just going to put $10 in. And I was holy shit. The last time I had to put just $10 in, I don't even remember. Yeah. And it's because of this work. It's because of, I haven't always had the opportunity to have these conversations, but these were the things that were in my head that was okay, I just want so much more. I think I shared a meme with you recently that said, the universe isn't on a budget. Ask for more.
Yeah. Yeah. The universe doesn't have a budget in mind. Just spend away in your magic bank account. Another thing it's making me think of, writing things out like a wish list. You write your wish list. I do an activity with my young people when I do youth workshops. I make them spend $1 million. I tell them the idea is somebody is going to give you $1 million, but you have to first give them a list
Oh my
You have
God.
to you have to give
I
somebody
want to go
the
home
list
and play
first.
this game today.
Okay, but this is how you're going to play it.
Okay.
Because at the age that we are at, we can spend $1 million on like 3 things, maybe even one thing.
Yeah, I'm buying a house. Yeah.
So what you have to do is you either have to spend 5 million or you have to add an extra 0 and spend 10.
Ooh.
So when I do this activity, like my young people, I get them to spend $1 million.
Yeah.
I spend 10. So I've gone through this process where I've spent $10 million and you have to spend it all. You have to write prices behind every item, every expense.
So like go through the exercise of like Googling it.
Yeah.
Like what's the price of this?
Color.
Like you said your daughter wants a G-Wagon. How much is a G-Wagon?
How much is it?
Details.
What color is it? Like everything.
So shop for it.
You gotta shop.
Oh
like
my God,
in your imaginary shopping spree.
Okay, life has changed again already.
So that's what I've done for myself in the past, and I continue to do. So I brought my book with me. This is my book of magic. I've had this for a couple of years. I call it my book of magic because it has all of my dreams and my goals that I've been manifesting and stuff over the years. And here is where I wrote out my podcast.
Yay.
So I had like a list, my podcast, and all the reasons why I wanted to do a podcast, all of my intentions for 2020. And I also have my $10 million.
Oh
so
my
I
God.
had like my thing of, I spent 10 million, but I also asked myself, what do I currently have the skills for that can contribute to me having $10 million if I wanted to make all this a reality? I know that you don't have to understand the how, but I want to, like, you still have to identify what skills that can you build on in order to start making the movement and pushing yourself towards these things.
Yeah.
So like the things I was writing is like, my events, my workshops, my books, my collaborations, my speaking. Yeah, like my and then I wrote my job, and then I crossed it out, and I was like, I ain't gonna have a job.
Oh my
I'm
God,
not gonna
I
do 9 to 5. So I was like, I took that right off.
Yeah.
Because I was like, no, in order for me to get to that point, I'm not working anymore.
So on the Confidence and Communication podcast, I interviewed Jill when she left her job. So that's such a good conversation. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
Because Jill, we were having this conversation. I don't know how long it took, but we kept talking about, or our conversations kept leading to, she's like, I got to leave this job. And I was just like, you're going to be okay. But I knew also you have to feel safe. And you need to revisit that conversation over and over and over. I knew that. And I knew eventually you were going to leave. And I remember seeing you downtown. There was an event that we met up at the Burton Cummings Theater. And you're like, I did it. I quit my job.
Oh, yeah. We met up on the road there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that night.
Oh, my God.
And you know what? I couldn't have been at that event on a Tuesday night or whatever night it was if I was still at my job.
If you still had a job, a job.
And that was so funny, though, because you could see so clearly that it wasn't aligning with me. It wasn't right anymore. It's like, but I couldn't find the courage to leave.
It's like that. It's like if you imagine like a rubber band, like you're pulling, and you're just waiting for it to break, but it kept snapping back. And that's okay. Like we're just like this exact conversation that we're talking about. You have all of these big goals and we don't know the how. And we think we need to know the how because our systems, our school or education system, everybody else that says, and we're taught in goal planning in school, here's how you make a goal. Now you have to come up with the steps. And so we think if I'm going to follow this goal, I need to know all the steps. And if I don't know the how, then I can't do it. But that's bullshit because we don't need to know the how. We just need to start building that faith and building that trust and like watching our vision, and eventually that rubber band snaps and you're free.
Yeah. And it's not like everyone has to go running out and quitting their jobs.
Right.
But for me, there was just I was going through a transition, a new life stage. And part of that life stage was leaving my my job behind and investing in myself.
Right.
And focusing on the business that I was building. And I couldn't fully build that business if I couldn't be there giving it 100% of my time.
And you couldn't even see the vision of it fully.
Yeah.
Until you created that space for it
That
either.
space, yeah.
So exciting. You've done incredible things.
I know. And then and what this book has reminded me to do is, so he was talking about having to write down, okay, well, what else do you want? Like, you have to have a list of goals.
Yeah.
Like, and then not just, 20 things or 10 things, but 5,000 things.
5,000
you
things.
have
That's
to have all of these things. So I was like, oh my God, I haven't done that.
If you want to build your life for the next 30 years, he says, then you need to make a list of 5,000 things. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something that you want right now, but if you want it in 10 years, and if you know that you want a different house in 10 years, then write it now.
Yeah. So I started doing that. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, I got 4 pages of things that I wanted, but I only have 17 things. But the thing is, I started writing it out, and then I started writing details under. Ooh. So number 1 is my big log house, but it fills up a whole page because I also wrote about every little thing I wanted in that house because I can see it.
Yeah.
A very, very clear vision of exactly how I want my dream house to look for a very long time. So then I was like, okay, got to write it down. He said to write it down, so I got to write it down. So I'm trying to write it down, but I don't want to just stop at like the 17 things. I know I got to push myself to write more and more and more and just keep dreaming and keep having these bigger visions and expanding. I got to like expand my horizons because I remember there was a time when I couldn't see any of this as a possibility. Like, well, I guess I could have saw some of it, but not as big as the way I see it now. I could only see, just like a little ways into my future. Oh, it's just like when you described it. Remember you described it as you're driving in the dark and the headlights? Yes. Can you share that?
That's how our vision is actually activated. So what I shared with you, and that was a long time ago that I shared that with you. So, but I know exactly what you're talking about. So your vision appears to you if you imagine yourself driving at night. You're driving, let's say on the highway where there's not a lot of street lights, so you can't see in front of you, but your headlights are going to project light on the next like 200 meters. So you still can't see what's at the end of the mile, but the more that your vehicle keeps moving forward, you're highlighting still, right? The light is going forward, and that's how your dreams, goals, and visions are activated and illuminated, right?
Yeah. We don't have to be able to see what the end result is, but
we just need to see the next step.
The next step and the next step. And then eventually we're going to get there.
Eventually you get there. And that's how like people will hear when you jump, the net appears. Oh, right? Yeah. So when you take the leap, you don't know. Like if I could describe my entrepreneur journey, a piece of it, I remember thinking, it's like you're pushing uphill, and you just think, okay, once I get over this hill, then I'm good, right? You think you're going to sail, but you get over that hill and you're like, I made it up the hill. And then you look around and there's nothing else but more hills, right? And it's just like, okay. And then sometimes you get to a point where you're like, I have to jump. I have to take this leap. That's a really big decision. I need to have faith. I need to trust. I need to, right? And I don't know what this is going to look like if I jump, just like if you had to quit your job or if you have to say no to, a big contract or whatever that is, you'll have these big decisions. And people are so afraid and they don't jump. But what I've learned is you just have to fucking jump, and you don't know where a net could be anything. A net could be something that comes out to support you. It could be a friend, an opportunity that you did not see because you didn't jump. And I like have lived that so many times, and it's scary. But now I'm at the point where I trust God, creator, universe, like so much more than when I started, I didn't understand because I was waiting for the how.
Yeah.
And I just kept going over and over and over. And it's like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
And, that's like, again, that's where like we're different in that, because I'm always still apprehensive. Don't fully trust myself sometimes. I'm still wanting that safety net. I'm still like wanting to make sure that hopefully like it's still conditioned, and it's so hard for me to break that conditioning. Mm-hmm. And it takes a little bit longer, whereas you trust yourself fully, where like, I can't stay here. Like, it's going to stunt my growth. Like, I'm out of here. Boof. And then you're gone.
Yeah.
But where I'm still kind of like, well, I'll just keep my foot in this pool a little bit longer. Like, I'm still not completely sure. And it takes me longer to get there. And then when I do, it's just like, wow. It's like everything is like illuminated. Like, why the hell didn't I do this a long time ago?
Our journeys are so interesting because you are better at the writing things down part. So that I can see why when you finally, like, even if your steps feel smaller sometimes, you're doing the groundwork. So even though they might feel smaller, they're just as strong, right? Where I might take those leaps and make quicker decisions and move faster, or like not necessarily, move faster, but make decisions faster. But then I need to... When I get there, after I've taken the leap, then I need to slow down and do the writing part. So it's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see that yin yang kind of, right? Like we just, yeah.
Cause like if our brains were one, like, holy shit. Yeah.
And that's good though, because people that are watching, they may resonate more with me, or they may resonate more with you, or, like they need to hear from opposite ends of where people are in their lives, and their level of thinking and their belief in themselves.
Yeah.
Cause that's been my biggest hurdle, is overcoming that belief in myself, that I can do something, that I'm worthy. So that's been my toughest challenge. And like all of the other stuff, honestly, like it's been easy because I can do the work part. It's like the believing in myself. That was the hard part. Mm-hmm. That was the muscle that I really, really needed to work on.
So what were some of the things that you did to help you, or what did you do, and what are you continuing to do to build that trust in yourself?
Actually, it was affirmations was where I started. So like, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but when we start our next book, this is actually the book. So it really changed the game for me. This book helped me to find my self-worth.
I'm so excited because I haven't read it.
Oh, yay.
I haven't read it before. And I do remember, like, when you and I first connected, and like not many people are into affirmations, but that was something that you and I immediately were like, oh my God, she does affirmations too.
Yeah, I love.
Like, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And even in this book, so on page 106, what he says is, the words I am are potent words. Be careful what you hitch them to. The thing that you are claiming has a way of reaching back and claiming you. And that's, that's such a big thing with affirmations, is a lot of the affirmations are I am statements.
Yeah.
Some of the earliest affirmations that we make, or that we learn how to make, are attached to I am statements. Mm-hmm. And what I realize is like, wow, I do a lot of negative I am statements. Like, I'm so broke. I'm so fat. I'm so lazy. I'm so tired. Mm-hmm. I can never get ahead. I can never get past this. I can never pay this bill down. Like, all of those I am statements were very negative.
We heard them in our world, right? And for some reason,
and still hear them all the time.
And we still hear them. And for some reason, it's so easy for us to relate to that struggle. So our brain, which is created to keep us safe by not taking risks, we'll pick those things up so easily and say, yeah, I relate to that. I'm so tired too. I'm so broke too. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. Like when we say those things, right? Our being just owns it.
Yeah.
Like I identify with that. That's me. And
That's
then
who you are. That's
and then
who I
that's
am.
what you're projecting.
So this reminded me to not to forget about the I am statements and revisit them and remind myself to be making them more positive I am statements. Like, because he talks about, all of his I am statements are I am wealth, I am abundance, I am joy. Like it's repeated over and over again.
Yeah, in the book. And so if you're reading the physical book, I don't know how many times it's in there, but I am wealth, I am abundance, I am joy. In front of paragraphs, sometimes you say it like 5 times. And my brain, there was a couple of times where I would try to skip it and I would tell myself, no, go back and read it.
Yeah, it's there for a reason in big, bold letters because you're telling yourself, I am these things.
Yeah.
And sometimes we forget that we may be slipping back into that negative, like, oh, I'm so this, I'm so this, I'm so this.
Yeah.
We have to remind ourselves, no, like I am abundant, I am joyful, I am beautiful, I am successful, I am worthy, I am a badass bitch.
I'm a badass bitch. So when you start affirmation, so I want to talk to like people who they're like, yeah, but I don't feel it. How do I do that? Like I am broke. I am fat. I am whatever, miserable. What do I do about it?
You just tell yourself, like, even if it's like lying to yourself, you know what I mean? It's like you just tell yourself, you redirect that statement.
Yes.
You redirect that thought. No, you just chase it out of your mind. No. I am healthy. I am my ideal weight. I am. And it's like you tell yourself that. And then because the more you do it, it becomes a conviction and you start to just physically, mentally take yourself there.
And you literally retrain your brain. So you have to start saying it even before you believe it.
Yeah.
You might not believe it. You might not believe, like, we always go back to the money example because that's, I think, something that, people can relate to. And it's also like, sort of proof in a way when you can manifest money. But even if you just pretend, and sometimes what I would do is I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't feel this. I feel like this is bullshit. But just for the next 60 seconds, or Abraham Hicks 68 seconds trick, or it might be 17 seconds. You just pretend for 17 seconds. I just got a $10,000 deposit in my bank account. I don't even know where this came from. Oh my God. Like, I'm totally going to go shopping this weekend, like just for 17 seconds. And then the Abraham Hicks 17 seconds rule, I think you know this, is as soon as you think about a thing for 17 seconds, another thought attracts like it. And once you start, you can stay in that energy for 68 seconds, then things are actually moving. So the more you can play, and you can say, I'm just going to play with this idea for 2 minutes. I used to do this. So visualization, I'd set a frickin' timer on my phone because it was so hard to like, how do I play this? How do I pretend this? And that's what creating your world is all about. He talks so much about imagination. So I would write out a list of 5 things that I wanted to manifest. 10 minutes, that's all it's going to take. I'm going to visualize 2 minutes for each of these things. And I would sit and I would close my eyes, and I'll use that same example. $10,000 was just deposited in my bank account. Like, holy shit, like, where did that come from? Okay, this is going to pay for this and this and this. I can pay my rent. I can fill up my car with gas. You do that for 10 minutes, and then you're like, I still have $8,000. Like, what can I do with this money? And once you start doing that, and then you can go back to your life, go back to the real world. But if you can just use your imagination, use that time for actual creation, and just pretend, and then eventually shit starts to happen.
Yeah, because you're raising that vibration. You're raising your vibration.
And we have to stop thinking about the how, because the how in so many ways prevents it from happening. Because I might think, the only way I'm going to get $10,000 is if I book a training for $10,000. But what if it comes from just a coaching client who's just like, I want to work with her? What if it comes from like your bank that says, you know, sorry, we forgot you overpaid and we actually owe you this money. Like, we have to be open to those things. Another thing that I've been playing with is, for years, I never ever bought lottery tickets. And lately I've been buying lottery tickets. And I come home and I tell my son, Rylan, guess what? And he's like, what? And I'm like, I just won $20 million. And the first time I did it, he's like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm just pretending. I'm just playing. And so now he laughs at me. He's like, don't do it. Don't even do it. But I said, no, I want to pretend. Like, what if I won $20 million? What would I do? And it's just playing with that energy. And you know what? When I win a free play, that's literally winning the lottery. So I will fucking celebrate. I'm like, oh my God, I won the lottery. It's a replay, but I won. It's a win. And last week I won $10. I'm like, okay, it's turning into money.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming. And actually, my first game with him was $2 million, but he's the one that said, why not 20 million? And I was like, why not? Oh my God.
Yes, you gotta shoot for the moon. Because even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. It's like learning how to dream bigger. For so long, I didn't know how to dream bigger. And I just have to teach myself how to dream bigger, and also teach myself that it's okay to dream bigger. You're not being greedy. You're not being selfish. You're not being like, you know, all of these. It's not shameful. You know, I had to chase these thoughts out of my mind that it, like, you know, why do I need this? Because somebody conditioned me to believe that
there's only so much.
And you're not a good person if you want more. You know, why should you
lies.
Yeah.
Amanda Francis says lies from the devil. Because you getting something from the universe is not taking away from anyone. But that's another conditioning that our systems teach us. Yeah. Right? If you win, then no one else can win. That's a lie.
Yeah. And then sometimes you got to block out that outside noise too. Because like I had to block out the outside noise because I was paying too much attention to it. So it's also like teaching myself not to pay attention to the outside noise. Like, you know, me mental not wanting to post my, you know, you've never seen me post my vehicle on Facebook or my house and stuff because I have it in the back of my mind. You're not allowed to brag. You know, don't brag about your stuff. And, you know, because
I've never seen the inside of her house.
Yeah, I should just do like a whole walkthrough because there's so many beautiful things that I really, really enjoy in my home. Like there's so many beautiful things.
What do you call that show when we were kids where people
show and tell?
No, there was like a TV show where you would go to see like the rappers' homes and stuff like that.
Oh, MTV Cribs.
MTV Cribs, yeah. And MTV Cribs with Jill Featherstone.
Yeah, and you know what? Like I've taken so much pride in making my house beautiful. But there's something in my mind saying like, don't ever show your home because, you know, people will think that you're boasting but you know,
some
like
people
I want some people to see because I want them to know that
it's possible.
It's possible.
She's a res girl.
Yeah. You know, like I didn't always have beautiful things, but I always wanted to have a beautiful, you know, beautiful things.
And there's nothing wrong with it. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with it.
Because sometimes I'm sitting in my house and it's, you know, 6:00 in the morning. The house is quiet. I'm drinking my coffee. And then sometimes I just look around and I think, wow, this is my home. Aww. It's so beautiful. Like this is my home.
You did this.
Yeah. I bought this home.
Yeah.
I decorated this home. This is all mine.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I just love it. But then, you know, like I said, I got to train myself to ignore the outside world because I do want to share it with other people and be able to show people, if you want this, you can do it too.
And if people are offended by seeing that, and this goes for anything, if you see someone posting something on Facebook and you're offended, that's not about them, that's about you. You need to start reflecting, why does it bother me so much that so-and-so has something really amazing? So something that my intuitive shared with me recently, because I always talk about a mental diet, and she said the words, you can observe, but don't absorb. And I thought that was really interesting to just remember. Like when you're online and you're trying to make things happen for yourself, and how, like I said, there was a time where I was like, this isn't working, right? And then you see other people and you see it's working for her and it's working for her and it's working for her. And it's not working for me. Like that's not the energy. That's a repelling energy. And we need to recognize that. And that's something we need to fix within ourselves. We need to recognize it and then we need to do something about it.
Yeah. I also want to talk about, because this is making me think about, page 99 talks about, if you are not wealthy and you wish to become wealthy, then just decide right now to be wealthy from this moment on. One. Do not think about it. Just choose to be it. And this isn't just for wealth. Like, you know, wealth isn't just about the money, but like, if you choose that you want to have a different life, then you just choose that I want, you know, this is what I want. You have to just become. And it made me think about, you know, a few years back, maybe 10 or so, maybe more than that now, years back, I remember feeling I was going through a shift. And, you know, for the longest time, I threw myself into motherhood, threw myself into raising my kids, building my career. And I was forgetting to live my life. You know, who was I outside of my house? Mm-hmm. I didn't know who I was outside of my house anymore, because all I was mom and wife. You know, wife, cook, cleaner, maid, laundry lady. I was like, that's who I was. And I remember one time too, like sitting on my couch and just feeling so overwhelmed with a big pile of laundry in front of me. And I wanted to know who I was outside of my life, because I was losing that. And I decided that I wanted to start doing things. And I started taking myself places. I went to the Junos and I got all dressed up. I even put on these like red, like bright red crocodile heels, put those on. Couldn't fucking walk in them, but I did it anyway. A bright red shirt, bright red lipstick. I have some pictures, I think, on my Facebook. And off I went to the Junos, and then I went to the Aboriginal People's Choice Awards. I dressed up.
I was probably at the same events.
Probably like walk right by each other. I
know, probably. Oh
yeah, and I went to like just different award shows, different places, and you know, I got dressed up and acted like I belonged there. I took pictures on the red carpets. I just felt like. Because those are the spaces that I wanted to be a part of. Those are the spaces that I wanted to be in, and I wanted to dress up and be fancy and do all of those things. Yeah. And I took myself there.
I love that. That's acting as if, right? We hear manifestation. Teachers talk about that all the time. Act as if. And you did it. You took advantage. You made decisions to go places. And then you just acted as if you belonged. And you also have another story that you talk about where you took a first class flight and you were standing in line and with other people that were in first class. Tell us about that. Because I remember you were standing and you didn't even have to carry any bags and you were just looking around at people and looking at how they were dressed and stuff.
I remember, you know, taking that first class flight. And I also remember getting ready for the flight and deciding what I was going to wear. And I chose something casual but classy. And I remember I was standing there with my matching luggage, and I had some really beautiful luggage that I got it on sale, but I paid top dollar for my matching like designer luggage. And I remember standing in first class and feeling like I belong here. You know, I fit in. Just like I looked around at the other people that were standing with me, and they all had on their designer duds, and, you know, they really looked the part. And I was like, wow, like for once in my life, I finally feel like, wow, this is where I belong. Yeah. I belong in this line, getting ready to board my plane first, with like no cares in the world. And all of us, you get on that plane and you just start getting treated like fancy. They serve you food and free drinks. And I got drunk on the plane. That was so funny. I was like, oh, these are free. So I was just like ordering all these drinks and like,
I'll have a double.
it was the best. But the thing that I like the most about it is like, I just felt like this is where I belonged.
Yeah. I love that because all of these things are like exercises. We all have opportunities to do that. It might not always look like first class seats on a flight or the Junos, but we all have those opportunities somewhere in our life to just either pretend or appreciate where you are and recognize like the moment, right? Like be present. That's a huge thing that took me a long time because I, always thinking ahead, or behind. But being present in those spaces are like so powerful to just go, holy shit, like look where I am. Look who I am. Like, this is my life.
Mm-hmm. I know. And then some people, they'll be like, well, that kind of stuff doesn't make me happy. Well, then that's okay because you do what makes you happy. And then I will do what makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't have to justify it to myself anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I was like always having to justify it to myself, not even to other people, to myself.
Yeah. I like hearing like when people say, I just decided that this was my life. I think that's something I'm still working through because it has, to me, what I've learned is it has a lot to do with identity, with boundaries, like what you will and will not accept. And like that's, I think, an ongoing practice because one of the things that we talked about in our last episode was how like receiving money is one thing, spending money, like you have all these different feelings that are tied to all of those activities. And it's the same thing when it comes to like the identity of, I just decided that this is my life. That means you're going to work on all of those angles of your identity and like bring the energy up and bring the vibration up on all of them. Yeah. And it might sound like a lot of work because I remember, if I were to kind of go back to the Jessica a few years ago, I was just like, oh my God, like, am I ever going to get there? Like, when does this actually happen? You have to stop taking score. We got to stop measuring and just start being.
Yeah.
And it's choosing over and over and over. And it's like, if you're not there yet, there's something in your vibration that you have to release or change. But eventually it just becomes a part of who you are.
Mm-hmm. And it's also making me think of, that mental work that we have to do to get to that place of, this is who I am now. This is who I am. To be able to embody it is, talks about it in chapter 8. In chapter 8, he talks about having to prepare your spirit to match your words and your actions. So it's not enough for us to just, write, I am all of these things, or say, I am all of these things. But you also have to do the work with your mental self and prepare your spirit. And I was thinking about, okay, how have I done that over the years? And, I've done that with affirmations. And I've also, there have been so many times where I knew that, okay, if I want to embody this person that I want to become, there are certain things that I also have to start eliminating from my life. There's certain things that I have to start doing in my life, like, incorporating exercise or cutting out, toxins or negative people or negative thoughts or negative things, like
Negative habits.
Yeah. It's not enough to just write down your goals and, say the words and say the things. You also have to do the work with your spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember learning years ago, and this was one of the things that I sort of heard somewhere, like probably Abraham Hicks, and then I just brought it into my life. And it was getting your energy right before the work. So what that meant to me was, I want to build this business where I inspire people and I teach them how to speak and blah, blah, blah. And I could get up in the morning and I could work. And a lot of times, like, that's me as a human on the planet, just, trying to make things happen just like everybody else. But then what I learned was, if I get up in the morning and I spend 10 or 15 minutes, maybe I meditate, maybe I do an EFT tapping, maybe I do some journaling and I release, what are my fears for the day? What are my goals? What am I asking God to support me with today? That's getting your energy right. And when you get your energy right, now you have divine support. And so I'm not out there doing it by myself. So it literally takes half the work.
Yeah. You know what? When I used to get ready for my Awaken the Spirit workshops, my Train the Trainer ones, my big ones, I used to take 2 full weeks of mental prep in order to get my energy ready for the big task that I was taking on. Mm-hmm. And now I don't need the full 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I need the morning.
Yeah.
I like a good sleep the night before. Get up, maybe go to the gym, or I'll spend the morning listening to my meditation music or whatever I need, my motivational video. That's all I need now because I encompass it now, and I've done the work. But I used to take a full 2 weeks of mental prep.
Mm-hmm. And as I listen to you, I imagine like our inner being, our spirit just being lit up. And the more that you focus on that, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And you're right. Like, if we don't spend that time, then we don't have that. Like, we have divine energy as much as we'll receive it. But the more time that we allow ourselves and invite it in by allowing in those good thoughts and good feelings and appreciation and gratitude and all those things, like it literally like lights us up. Mm-hmm. So that when we go in to do the work, do you ever feel like when you're doing one of your presentations that it just comes through you?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like you don't even, I don't have to remember everything because I fucking prayed.
Yeah.
And it's just coming through me. Like I'm a channel. Whatever those other
I
words
always
are.
pray, like, that the words that are needed for whoever is in this room, like I pray that will come through, that whoever needs something is going to, to receive that from me. I pray for those, I pray for the right words. I pray for the message that somebody needs to hear, that I'm able to relay that message. Mm-hmm. I ask intentionally, like I ask for those things each day. And I also ask for the right words and words that are safe. I always ask that, like, I'm going to create a safe environment for people, because the work that I do too is like, it can be very triggering. Mm-hmm. And I always want to make sure that I'm creating safety for the people that come to spend time with me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, and when I pray for it and when I ask for it, I believe that we're all supported and we're all protected and we're all guided, and that whatever happens during that time is meant to happen. Mm-hmm. Whatever, even if it's like triggering, like those things are meant to come out, because, we need to be there to support each other. So yeah, like all of this came from, like just this book is just bringing up so many things. So I'm really excited for people to find this book. I hope that this book finds you. I hope that you find this book, and when you're ready to incorporate it into your life, like start taking it in, start taking in this book, like even if you only read it in sections, and even if you're only taking it in like piece by piece, like we had to do, pick up this book and start reading, because
I'm going to read this again in 2027.
Yeah. And because, because money is important.
Money makes the world go round. Money makes the world go round. And we need to, like, if we don't want to be in poverty anymore, we need to learn to find a way to be comfortable to talk about money.
Yeah. And I'm really excited to jump into this next book. This is Jessica's, but this is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. So this is the next book to pick up. You can find it. We'll put the Amazon link in the show notes. But this is the next book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. If you haven't read it, like, you're in for a treat. I can honestly say that this book changed my life.
I'm so excited. And last month, we did this off the podcast, but we did a draw in our Facebook group. She Manifested It podcast Facebook group. So you can join the group if you haven't found it yet. And we gave away a book each. So Donna and Brenna both won books. So we sent them the book. And we're going to do the same for the new book. So you can buy it, but we also want you to invite a friend to the group, join the group, make sure you're in there, and share the post. And what did we have them say as they shared it? You got to see this.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll post that in the show notes, and then we're going to pick a winner for that book as well.
All right. So we will see you again in 2 weeks, and hopefully you've had a chance to grab the book on Amazon or get it at a local bookstore, because they're at every bookstore. I always find copies of this book at the thrift stores as well. I have I've given away so many copies of this book because I find them at thrift stores all the time.
Jill gives away a lot of books. That's her thing.
All right.
Okay, amazing. Okay, see you next time.